Hey guys, it's RobJ here, and in today's video I'm unboxing my newest ants. I'm really excited about this as I've wanted this species for a long time now. It is indeed Camponotus Turkestanus. I'm not 100% sure if I pronounced that correctly, and if not, please don't take it out on me too badly, as I've never been very good with pronouncing the correct pronunciation for the ant species. But as we go through the unboxing, we find that there's a heat pad included, really well packaged, and I've never actually received ants so well protected. And this is of course from a really reliable ant dealer in the UK called Best Ants UK. You can visit their website and I've popped their link down in the description. But if you're in the UK or surrounding areas that you are allowed to have ants internationally delivered, they are a very good and have some very good deals going on a regular basis, so I do recommend checking them out. So here are my new ants. So I ended up with a really nice healthy queen, 3 workers and 2 eggs, and immediately I really was glad that I went for the species, as they were not a letdown whatsoever. I find that just having such a different colour in your collection is really nice. They just remind me so much of the Laceus species. So yeah, the meadow ants, but there's just like a giant version of them, and it's really nice. So I immediately started off to coax them into a correct sized test tube for the nest I wanted to move them into, and this was pretty easily done. I just put a heat cable under it and linked them together. They moved their eggs and then the queen and then themselves within hours, and then it was easy just to take the other one off them. Now I didn't provide water in this test tube, as I want the next step, which was connecting the test tube to the foundation nest. I wanted to make the foundation nest tempting. So, along with heating it to the correct temperature for this species, I also hydrated it. Now their choice is to stay in the unheated, non-hydrated test tube or to move. And as you see, the very next day my plan had succeeded and they had moved, but there was a snag. The queen had moved and most of the workers had moved, but one very small and, I would say, the most important part after the queen was the eggs. Weirdly enough, the eggs weren't moved to the heated nest, which they're normally the first thing to be moved and then the queen. So one worker, and it wasn't always the same worker, they definitely took shifts, which was a rather interesting thing to watch, to be honest, that it was always different ants every time I came and looked. So they were definitely relieving each other and taking turns on different jobs. So I thought, okay, let's see if they'll eat. And sure enough, they tackled the fly with quite a ferocious response to an intruder. A lot of ants will run away initially and then come back once they've got a bit more of a confidence, but these went straight in for it, spraying their formic acid. Although they did leave it for about half an hour for the acid to do its work, but eventually they did return, they carried it away, and they all got involved, and the queen did the main part of the eating. She pretty much ate the whole fly herself, and the workers virtually got nothing. So I did follow that up with some nice sweet ant nectar, just to make sure that the workers were happy. And the nest that you can actually see them in is actually one of my newer nests, and it was sent over by High Tech Ants. It's a relatively new company. I did recently do a review on their Outworld and their small size nest. This is actually a smaller nest than that. This is what they refer to as their foundation module, and it's a bit big for my queen right now, but as they're not particularly prone to making a junk pile in their own nest, which is normally the concern with giving them a little bit too big of a nest straight away, these ants will always carry it out, which is handy, and this does mean that she can grow into it. And believe it or not, there's a good gradient in this little foundation nest where the eggs can be moved onto the heat source, away from the heat source, and to the moisture and away, which is obviously provided through the plaster insert. And as you can see, the queen initially set up in the tighter corner for feeling more relaxed and closed in and secure, but after the first day, hiding in the corner was not seen. That behaviour was not repeated. If anything, the queen became very, very active in a relaxed manner, but she would leave the nest to tackle the flies herself. So I've not long just put a fly inside the nest in this current recording, and as you can see, the little egg is placed around the corner from the queen, and the queen's just doing what you'd expect, hanging out in the nest, currently giving herself a clean. But what I haven't observed, well, not regularly, and at least not in my collection of species, is the queen somewhere along the line gets the alert that there is a intruder or food source, and believe it's a food source. I doubt she would run towards a intruder, and once the message is received, she is off. I wasn't expecting it, but it was really rather interesting. So it happened, and it was sort of a surprise, so I had to rush the camera work because I wasn't expecting this to happen, but I did manage to catch most of it and edit out the rough, choppy parts. So this was her as soon as she decided to leave, and it was straight out into the test tube, and from there it was quite a confident stride straight down to what was causing all the ruckus. And it was like she came out to see if it was ready for eating, because as soon as it was established it was alive, she bit it and then returned to the nest. So I thought, it's like, oh yeah, it's not quite ready, bring it to me when it is. Which is rather funny. So 3 days later, I wanted to see how she was settling in, and they chose right above the heating pipe for the eggs, and as you can see, there was no cowering in the corner or whatnot, but if you look closely, my initial 2 eggs has multiplied. She has done a much bigger layer, and I counted 8, but I'm not 100% sure on that number. But I was really happy to see my new queen had just been delivered 3 days ago, had in fact already laid eggs and settled in quite nicely. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to my new colony, and obviously now it's part of my colony, I'll bring you regular updates when something actually happens that's noteworthy. Thanks a lot for watching the video, and I'll catch you next time.